Hello, it's Yamina. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about something that I've been planning on talking about for maybe a year or so, but I kind of forgot to do this video. So, let's see. So back in college, which was years ago for me, one of my friends in my old friend group, she had lost her uncle. He had passed away, and she was sad about it, but she was like, that's a part of life. That's what we should expect. So we shouldn't be surprised when people pass away. And I was just like, I actually don't agree with that. And the funny thing is, like, I hadn't been part of the religion I was raised in for years at that point, for like 7 years. And I was also a child when I was part of the religion I was raised in. So children learn things very well, but we also have to learning things as a child is different from learning things as an adult, especially like very, why is the light dimming, but especially very important things, very serious things. So it takes different, children understand things differently, and it's amazing to also like learn the same information as an adult and look back at it and see how you think of it. So anyway, so when I was talking to my friend, I was just like, well, I don't agree with that. Like, death is something that everybody knows about. Like, we all see it, we all experience it in one way or another, but it's not natural and it's not how God intended things to be. So I was just like, yeah, God made us to live forever, and we don't live forever because of the first sin that happened. And that first sin, people always think it's something or another, and it's basically that they disobeyed God in one aspect. So that aspect that they disobeyed him was the original sin that Eve and Adam participated in, and from that point on, the rest of the world was born into sin and we all die. And we experience death in different ways, and whether it's by accident, by war, by old age, by a disease that takes us really young or when we're older, or by ourselves doing it, or by crime. So many ways that it's possible, but it's not what God intended for us, and it's not going to last forever. That dying is part of the cycle of living. So even though it's part of a cycle right now, it's not the way it's supposed to be, and it's not what was supposed to happen. The Yeah, it wasn't supposed to happen for humans, even though it might be something that exists for animals. I'm not really sure about that. But back on to what I was telling my friends. So I was like, from what I remembered about the resurrection that is supposed to be happening for us in a better world on a paradise earth. So that's what I always believed in, even though I wasn't practicing my religion in college. I was not part of my religion at all. But I was telling her that because I felt bad for her losing her uncle. And over the years, we lost Aaliyah, we lost Lisa Left Eye Lopez from the TLC. I lost a young lady that I had met at the end of my high school years. She passed away before I even went to college. I also lost my friend when I was in college, and throughout my years in my congregation where I live, a few of my friends have passed away from old age, from heart attacks, from accidents. So it just really, you never know when it's going to happen, but right now it's happening. It's just not natural, because if it was natural, it would be that God would want us to see us sad about something it's not a nice thing to want to see someone sad about, and that is not how God is. God is the God of love. And when he lost his son during the sacrificial death that he did in behalf of all humans, God cried. God was upset, and we see that in the scriptures. So it's not how things were intended to be. And even Jesus performed resurrections on earth, and before Jesus, others performed resurrections on earth, but they were temporary for the fact that we're not in the conditions that we're supposed to live forever in. So and I should say this is all what I believe in, because everyone believes differently, but this is what I believe. So I'm just sharing this from my perspective. So even though death is part of what the world is experiencing, it's not permanent, and it definitely makes most of us sad, if not all of us sad in one way or another. And so with that, I want to say, even though I've lost a lot of people, this is the first time in my life that I actually lost a family member. So today is Friday, and on Wednesday afternoon after work, I was going home, and my mom had called me the night before, so I was calling her back. So she told me that my sweet, loving, beautiful, handsome, talented grandpa had passed away on Monday in the afternoon, and I was very upset. I'm still upset, and it's weird to think about not talking to him again, to not write him. And even though I should say this, like, speaking to him hasn't been easy because he had been showing signs of dementia, so it's not easy to have a conversation with him, especially over the phone. He also seemed to be hard of hearing as well, so that was difficult, and he was not like following the conversation, so that made it difficult to have a conversation with him. So I haven't spoken to him in years, like actually having conversations, at least a year or two. But and he was sleeping a lot in between as well. But when I did get to speak to him, he would always bring up the same subject or speak in circles. But when I was in my 20s, I had decided no matter what an older person wants to speak about, if they speak about the same exact thing over and over again every time they see me, I'm going to just let the conversation happen, because I'd rather them have a discussion that they're comfortable with and used to, that I can ask them more questions about, or dive a little deeper into whatever they're talking about, and just show interest. So that's what I decided to do since I was like in my 20s. I was like, I'm going to have every conversation with every older person that I love, and listen to them and enjoy that conversation no matter how many times I have it. So yeah, I hadn't been able to speak to him, have a conversation with him for at least last 2 years. The last time I probably had a good conversation with him was maybe 2022 or 2021. So yeah, it's been a while. But I am gonna miss like writing him and my grandma letters, or calling her and saying, make sure you tell grandpa I love him. That's what I always told her. And I'll write them letters or postcards just to check in with them. So I even though, like, to me, like I said, death is not natural, it's just what we're used to. I kind of thought that this was going to be the year, and I was actually trying to make plans to go home to New York City by summertime, by the end of the summertime, to see them again, because I was worried that something would happen, because my grandpa turned 96 in February, and every time someone gets older around their birthday, they are more likely to not live long past that. So I was very worried, especially with the signs that he was showing. He had just gotten moved into a nursing home, and I was just like, oh, I need to go home. Like, I need to go home to see my grandparents. So that's what I had intended to do this year. All the years that I've been living where I live, I've visited friends at nursing homes. And sorry, hold on, there's wind picking up. Just want to let the wind pass. So all the years that I lived here, I've had friends go to nursing homes, and some of them have been there for like half a year, some of them have been there for 3 years, and then they don't live longer than that. So I associate nursing homes with end of life, even though it's not supposed to be. And some people live way longer than just 3 years. It's just none of my friends have, unfortunately. So as soon as I was told that my grandpa was getting moved into a nursing home, I started to worry a lot, and I didn't want to like bring it up to my relatives what I was thinking, but I was very worried, and I was like, I really need to get home. I was making plans to like save a little extra money so I could go home and all that, and it didn't pan out that way. So when I went home back in 2018, I made sure I took a picture with my grandparents, because I was just like, I don't know the next time I'm going to see them. It's not that I don't want to go home. It's just that I hate flying. it takes a while to like save up money to go on the train, and I have to make sure I have enough time. So that's why I tried to stay in touch with them as much as I could, because I don't travel often just because it doesn't fit into my budget, and I should make it fit. I should stop buying Barbies and makeup and stuff. So yeah, so I made sure I took a picture with them in 2018 when I last went there, and I was hoping to be able to get a picture with them again and see them again, but that did not happen. So yeah, my grandpa passed away on, let's see, we're April, so April 15th in the afternoon, my mom told me, and yeah, I was upset about that, and I'm gonna be upset, and I am gonna be able to go home for the funeral whenever that happens, but I don't know when that is, and I'm just very sad that I didn't get to go back home before this happened. And this is the very first person in my family that has passed away from anything, and I was not expecting that right now, but like I said, with the way things started off at the beginning of this year with my family and my grandparents' situations shifting a bit, I was just like, I don't like the way this is looking. So it did happen, unfortunately, and I have to live with that, and I look forward to being there when my grandpa is resurrected. I have the rest of my grandparents to see as well. I only have one grandparent left, and I love her dearly. I'll be staying in touch with her and looking out for her. The rest of the family, of course, is looking out for her, and they're way closer to her physically, so I'm glad for that. But yeah, I'm very sad about that. I'm gonna miss my grandpa. I'm gonna miss sending him I love yous through my grandma or my mom, my aunt. So that's what I wanted to share. So to me, death is not permanent, and it's not part of the, it's not supposed to have been part of the life cycle that we see. It was supposed to be, it's basically a punishment for the first sin, and we are seeing the results of it every day in our lives, no matter why or when someone ends up passing away. So that's the end of my video. I hope that makes sense, and I will post a few scriptures in the description for comfort. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. So I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good rest of your day and take care. Bye.